Good morning, hello. Also, good morning, Lumicode. How are you doing today? Happy Wednesday. I thought I felt Zilby come up and rub against my legs, but nope. That was just, I guess, air current or hallucination or something. I don't know. But anyways, it's hump day. It's halfway through the week. That's it's always nice to sort of see the week move steadily marching on. Always looking forward to that weekend. Today we're gonna be debugging that problem we ran into at the end of yesterday, which was actually we can just run this. Whenever the particles of the player ship die, and we try to delete all of them from the particle world, something seems to happen. Like it crashes. Right there. Index is out of balance. The length is 1, but the index is 1. So we try to remove index of 1, but the length was 1. So I try to remove the second one, the second index, or the second element in the vector, but there was only one item in the vector. So something is going on there. I was thinking about how we can sort of debug this, ways that we can like solve it, and I didn't want to go into like actual full solutions until we like really truly understood what our problem is. So to that end, I wanted to start with some tests. So recreating what the problem is down here in a test. So function should be able to delete all entities. And then once we understand sort of what's happening, we can then decide how we're going to go about solving it. What are we actually going to do about it? All right, so I'm going to create a new world. I'm going to register. I don't think I need to register like multiple components anymore. I'm just going to register one component. We can actually register the name for marker. That might make the most sense. Then we should be able to spawn a few entities. So I'm thinking we can spawn 3 entities and then try to delete all 3 of those entities. Okay, so if we create all 3 of those, then if I wanted to delete all of them, we just run delete with index of 0, 1, and 2. Now, I'm going to just manually delete them right now. We're going to see if we run into the same problem. Otherwise, I might query for them, loop through them, and then delete by the index there. And so we'll sort of like see how we can end up can we just like recreate this just manually? Then we'll update. We should. The GGEZ thing looks pretty cool. Oh, thank you, Lumicode. Yeah, it's a really nice game framework. I love using it. It's a lot of fun in my opinion. Although to be honest, when Bevy like gets to more of a 1.0 release, I might end up switching over to that. Bevy is doing some pretty cool things behind the scenes, but it's also going to be a while until they're ready, because they have a lot of aspirations. Okay, so we have a world update that should make them go away. Then we need to verify. Okay, so then we can query and see that we got a length of 0. The only time we tried to make a game was in C++ and you used SFML. We feel lazy to check out the Rust bindings. Interesting. I don't know too much about C++, so I don't know that game engine. I've heard that some people used Godot or Godot, like Mr. Halsey is using that, Peyton Rules. There's a few other streamers that are doing Godot/Godot with the Rust bindings, and they say it's pretty good. So it uses its own scripting, yes, but there are Rust bindings for it, I believe. So yeah, like Mr. Halsey and Peyton Rules have. Well, Peyton Rules isn't doing it right now, but he has in the past live streamed projects that are in Rust in Godot, which I think is pretty cool. Let's see. If we update, okay, so if I just run this right now, do we run an error? Oh, well, yes, we get an error, but not for the right reason. We have to return, okay. Oh, you redeemed Pet the cat. Is Zilby in? He's not down here right now, but he was hanging out a little bit before, so I'm gonna leave that request up. And if Zilby stops by, we'll do a little bit of a Pet the cat. Hello, Bear. How are you doing today, Bear? Okay, so we need the results. Trying to survive. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's one of those days. I hope you're able to survive through the day. All right, so do we get the same problem? Yes, we did. Okay, so when we attempt to remove every single element from the component, so like delete all of the entities essentially, we get this one. Now, I'm curious, if I don't delete, if we leave one of the entities, okay, we still get the same problem if I leave 2 of them and I just delete one of them. Then that's fine. And of course, my initial test that I wrote when I wrote this feature to begin with was just deleting one of the entities. But as soon as we delete a second one, or I'm guessing like a critical mass of them, now I'm also deleting them in this specific order. But I don't know if that's supposed to matter that much. So what I want to do is I want to basically, I want this to run until it passes. Like there's no errors. But I suppose the way to like verify that is we can query for these components, and the length should be 0. Right, and they should still be there because they're still registered. We haven't removed them. No dying allowed. Absolutely, yes. Oh, the migraines have returned. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know how bad migraines can be. Well, look who just showed up. We have a Zilby. So we'll do a little bit of a pet the cat here. I wish you could hear him. I don't know if you can hear this. It's very quiet. Oh, no, that's my cable. You can't have that. Ah, now he wants to play. I really need to get the toy down here so I can play with that. Nope. No biting that. Normally he doesn't go after cables. I think it's like this like volume box on it. He loves those little box type things. All right, so that's still working. I can still hear. You know, if you're gonna hang out, we can turn a camera on you, Zilby, but you need to go somewhere where I can actually point the camera at you. All right. Let's see. So I want to query for name. This could be like wrap names equals world.query1. We're gonna go after name. You should be a vec of markers. No, a vec of string. And then we should see that your length is 0. So finally we can assert equal names.length is 0. All right. Now it's not able to get down here because it's going to fail at this point. However, once we get that fixed, this should then work out for us. So let's head on up. Let's just fold everything, make it a little bit easier on us. So we're gonna have our test unfolded down here. And in impl world, we're gonna have delete entity by index. So we just query 1. So we do a normal query here. And then we mark it to be deleted. Right, okay, right, because we set that wrap to be deleted is actually a component that gets added to every entity when we spawn an entity. So that should be fine. But then we have this update. So we get the wrap to be deleted. So we get this VEC of booleans. Indexes to delete. Okay, so it'll delete. Right, okay, so I'm basically setting this to be deleted, iterate, enumerate, and then fold. And what I want this to be is just a vector of 3 things. Let's sort of see what we have. Did it not even get there? That kind of looks like it panics before the debug happens. Because I don't see the debug at all. Interesting. 61. Ah, here's where it happens. So if we were to debug to be deleted, I don't want to move it into debug. I figured you were a reference. You'd be fine. Fine, I'll reference you. Wait, that shouldn't have worked. Did I run my test wrong? Yeah, I did. Okay. Okay, so here's what we have. When I queried for that, I have to be deleted, to be delete. Oh, there's only 2 of them. But I've created 3 entities. Because we have this with component 3 times, so it should have. No, okay. So we're deleting entity. We're deleting entity 3 times. Or we have 3. We have a single entity. Oh, you know what I think is this is not the best idea here, because we need to world dot spawn entity 3 times like this. Then I can, let's take a look at what we have now. So to be deleted is false and true after this. Okay, so line 60, we only have two of these. but really we should have 3 because spawn entity should add the to be deleted to all 3 of these entities. Oh, and I'm looking at indexes to delete. So I wonder if there's something going on here. I'm also wondering, are we properly like setting up what we want this to be too? So let's debug. This can be entity by index. Oh, we already have to wait. Delete entity by index, so to be deleted. Actually, give this label. So this is our problem here. When we're just querying this out, and we're just getting our vector of booleans without like filtering it at all, we're not getting enough of these. Okay, so delete entity by index. And then to be deleted is we just have 2 of them. Do I just have one of them? This is kind of a weird debug here. This is line 60. Yeah, that should be a vector of booleans. Now what I want to do is I want to get rid of this debug here. So we should only have one of them now. Yeah, okay, so that's what this is. This is to be deleted is false, and then it's true. How big is this? So have to be deleted. I kind of want to wait, wrong one, right here. So to be deleted dot length. What are you? Your length is 1. We only have 1 item in to be deleted? Oh, that seems wrong. So when we create this, when we spawn entity, and this is something that's interesting too. How do we put like? I don't see a register essentially for deleted. Oh no, here it is. Okay, so spawn entity, we register to be deleted into, and then we try to insert to be deleted with false into it. And then we mark that we're empty as false. Okay, so self.entity data.register to be deleted into. I think because we're just blindly doing register on this, that's deleting and resetting our vector here to be just an empty vector. So we're only ever going to get a single, like just one item inside of it. Now we have this self that is empty. And are you actually being used? Like you claim you are. So self that is empty is set to false when we spawn an empty entity. In update, we're doing that. I think also we need to check to see if we've spawned and we've done this here. So if we're if self dot is empty, then that's when we need to register this. And we can also set this to be false, and we start you with default, which makes you true, okay? So we're gonna say only if we're empty, register, and then reset this to be false. But then no matter what, every time we spawn an entity, insert false as deleted. So if we do that, and we run this test, suddenly everything passes. Delete entity by index, so it's okay, it's all deleted. There's no debugs here. I think that's in the... Yeah, suddenly this makes a lot more sense. So if we do this, I want to run. Oh, this is Asteroids rest. Yeah, we could just do that. Now, if I die, explode out, they all disappear. That's what was going on. It wasn't the delete itself was not going wrong. It was the marking things as deleting was going wrong because the length of that component was always 0 due to when I register. So perhaps an error already registered should we should have that just for our own safety. So that would have stopped that from killing us there. So essentially we want another error in here, which is like we've already registered this resource. So let's see if we can do that. Already registered component with name. That. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to have because I think what happens here is we do register on entity data. Is that right? Yeah, so here's register. And it's, yeah, based upon the name. So we add this in here and then we just give it an empty vector, which is where our problem comes in. And then we self components insert. what we really want to do is we want to find out when we register is there something with that, the key of the name, already in existence. So I could do this as a function. The big thing is that we're now going to want to return a result with nothing else inside of it, just so we can get that error out. And if self dot components, what methods do we have access to here? Contains key, and the key is a reference, so that would be name. And then that's going to be a boolean, so it returns true if the map contains a value for the specified key. Okay, so if this contains that key, then I want to do an early return of an error. Component already registered, and we're going to give it the name. And that can be our guard clause. So this should, oh, and then we have to do an into. That should now make it so we'll get a really good error message if we ever run into this again. So let's head back out into mod, because you should be upset now that we're not actually, okay, so register, you now need to return a result. And we're just going to return you straight through. With spawn entity, we can question mark you. And then we just need to handle all of these errors. Or all these warnings, really. All right, no more. Oh, there's plenty of other errors. Okay, so now we're in. Is this asteroids? This is asteroids now, so we need to fix all of these. That's not going to be as easy. Just one off these. Oh, but I can't do that because we're returning a game result. So I can't actually do this question mark here. Unfortunately, this has to be an unwrap. Oh, okay, that went too far. Let's convert, let's change this to an unwrap. We'll get the error message here. That should be fine. No more warnings, no more errors. And if we run this now, everything should work out the way we want it to. So we can now die. I feel like this is a little bit too long for those. Let's go ahead and let's see. How long do we have it? Add resource. Debris ticks to live. So we have this as 180. I feel like we can almost half that. Make that something like 90. So a little bit over a second. Yeah, that feels a lot better. We can even make that like it sometimes feels so strange that like something that lasts for like 1.5 seconds still can feel so long. So if we do like only 30 ticks, half a second. Maybe a little bit too short. You can do just a full second. And the more I think about this, the less I actually like the sort of like the speed of this. Like, I don't actually know if we need this debris particle speed. If we head over into the create debris, here's our, and then we normalize and multiply scalar. I kind of like not doing this. And then what if I were to do this like speed, the negative speed to speed. And right now that's like -2. I think that should be good for this. Oh, oh, okay. Okay, there we go. Right, you don't need mutable, but let's see how this ends up looking. Yeah, I like this a little bit more. It's not it's sort of like going off in different, like it's not a perfect like circle. Which I like. So I don't think we need to do this at all. We can keep that, we can keep the speed variable, and that allows us to sort of like play around. We don't need this to be mutable. If we head back to our main library, our particle count, we have 10. If we made this like 20 or even like 50, we have a particle speed. We can make this maybe a little bit higher. Let's see how this looks. That looks pretty good. Something else though that like I think like it's pretty jarring when it just disappears. I would love for it to fade away. To do that, we're gonna need to give it a color. Because that's the only way we can like set the alpha for it, and then we can update that color every tick to reduce in what would it be in value. So right now when we create the debris mesh, we just set you, okay, to be whatever the color is sort of passed in here. I think what I want to do now is change that. You're just gonna be white. And then we're gonna have a complete different color added onto that later. So create ship debris. We don't have to tell you to be white there. Oh, the debris brush. We're manually setting you. That's not good. We want to set you based upon the size, which I think we have in here. We don't. We should have a resource. Should be like a debris size. And then our data is, let's see, our size needs to be an F32. So let's make that, it can be the same thing. And actually, I wonder if I can make it F30 to get away with just like 1. Then we're gonna come back to create the ship debris, and we need to get that resource. So this is gonna be wrapped, our wrapped debris size. And it can be an F32. And now we can do this. And then we need to drop you. Okay, so that should make it look good there. Let's see, we don't even need a color anymore. We don't need that white there. Okay, so we're good with errors and warnings. Let's feel how that looks right now. Okay, so I think that was good. Was that easily seeable on stream? I think so. It's a little bit hard to tell. I might want to bump that back up. Were you able to see it, Lumicode? I know that like I have a smaller preview window, but like I want it to be visible, like even if you're looking on the phone or something. So I think I should bump this back up. Where were we? To a 2.0. Then we want to, when we create, okay, so we want the actual sort of like color setup for each of these debris. So in here, we have a debris color. I am Hardliner. Hello. Good morning. Okay, so we have our debris color. Let's go ahead and get that registered. And our component size here is going to be a color. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm doing good. Bear is unfortunately having a migraine right now, which is not the best. I've been fortunate not to have them, but I've worked with some coworkers who've had them in the past, and I cannot imagine it. It seems pretty bad. So I'm also trying to keep my voice nice and steady today. Also trying not to go to any like bright white screens. which like some of my web browsers are like set to that. So hopefully I won't accidentally do that. Okay, so we're gonna register this, and then now when we go to the create the ship debris, no, because this is just gonna be, we're gonna set you to be white each time. So really this is gonna be an update. We need to update the color and fade them away and change the alpha of this. So that's where we need the color to be set at. But yes, okay, and so here's this with component. So we're gonna do another with component. Debris color. Okay, and our color. We're gonna do color new. We can make this 250 1.0, 1.0, and the more I think about this, can I like mutate a color? Is that something I can even do? I'm gonna go to a web page. It might be white. Just heads up. Well, this one's not white. I think this one's also not. Yeah, it's nice and dark. Let's go take a look at color. So here's our alpha, but it's not public. So is there any updates that we can do to it? I don't think we can. I don't think we can update a color. Oh wait, no, you are public. Wait a second. Okay, so you are public. Public alpha, excellent. If using Firefox, you can set your default background to black and your default text color to white. This way, if you open a new tab, it will be black instead of white. Oh, that's a really good idea. I will try to remember to set that later. That would be awesome. It's an about config. Yeah, I don't think I've played with like the about config very much. All right, but this is cool. So I can set the color. Maybe we can update the color here. So we're gonna set this to be 1.0, 1.0, 1.0. So RGB alpha. So we're adding in this color. Stop doing things that I tell you to do and do the things that I want you to do. Okay. Once we have that, I want to update update the color of the particles. So basically this can be a fade particles system. Oh, and we have an entire system for particles in here too. Dark Reader is available for Firefox and does a reasonable job with most sites. Oh, that's a good point also. Thank you, Utsby. I'll also take a look at that. Let's see. So this is gonna be fade color. So fade particles. Let's actually just start adding in system here. I think that'll help out. Do a public function, fade particle system. We know we need the particles world. Okay, which is a reference to a world. I don't know if I need anything else for this. So we're going to return a error result with nothing in it. Which means, okay, so what do we actually need to do here? We need to query for all those particle colors and then set them. So, and you need to be immutable. And it's really not just particle colors, it's the debris colors. So I should rename you to debris. Grade debris system. I love the fact that it updates that automatically. That's really nice. Okay, so we're gonna do a particles world. Everyone names. This is debris color. To string you. And then borrow you mutably. Okay, then we cast it into its vector. Then I think that we can just loop through all of these colors and then subtract the alphas by 1. So we can do a debris color. We can get you into an iter mute. I don't need to enumerate you at all. We're just going to go through, so we can just do a for each. Then I want to do color.a minus equals 1. All right, so then let's use the fade debris system. Okay, so that's good. So that should fade them that way. And then we do want to go into the particles draw system and update that to use the colors for the particles. So we get the meshes, we get the locations. Okay, then we're gonna get your colors out. Then we're gonna draw you, and so then our params here, so we set you a destination. We also want to set a color of colors of index. All right, I do have an error. It's that silly thing again where I need to restart the REST analyzer server after changing a file name. Okay, so let's see if this just works. I think it may not fade fast enough. Or it may fade too fast. There's no errors there. Is that fading too fast now? Let's say if I don't fade you. I should be able to still see this. Okay, so we see that. Okay, so my fade debris system is happening maybe, oh, it's minus equals to 1 that brought it from like 1.0 to 0.0. It's a value between 0 and 1. Probably should not reduce you by 1, but reduce you by like 0.1. Let's think about this. This is lasting 60 frames. It's lasting 60 ticks. So if I want to, basically if I do 1 divided by 60, so 1 divided by 60, I think that would give me, it should fade away right as it disappears. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. I kind of like that a lot. So then to make this a little bit more dynamic, we could query for how long, like the ticks that this is going to last. I guess like the debris ticks or like life. Ticks to live. We're inside the debris system, so I don't think we need that. We could just have a ticks to live, which is going to be a reference to a, what are you? Are you a U32? You're a U size. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so we can do a wrapped ticks to live. I'm gonna cast you. Once I have that, I want to divide you by 1 over ticks to live as an F32. so we have to dereference you first. Oh, ticks to live actually, wait. Is that a reference or is that a resource? It is a resource. I did query and I didn't mean to do a query. You are a get resource. There you go. That should be happier now. So now we could actually make this, we can play around with that number and have like ticks to live be something like shorter, like we can do 45. We could decrease the count. We can make you like 40. The speed could be like maybe a little bit slower. And everything should sort of like automatically figure itself out. I like that. That sort of like looks good. We see the explosion, it goes away, and then after a little bit of time, we'll be able to bring the player back in, reduce a life to the player, and add that right in here. And that's probably going to be a resource. So how would I bring the player back after this? What I think we would need to do would be after the player is dead, we're going to have a system that just sort of waits to see. Oh, I guess it can check, right? Is the player dead? The way we know the player is dead is because the player's been deleted. But is that really what we want to do here? Because also I think we want to wait a certain number of time until we bring the player back. I feel like this might be one of the few times that we have some kind of like internal state inside of here. Oh, I know. We can have a resource for when to like spawn the player again. So like spawn player in. Go ahead and close all these up so I have a clean slate here. Let's head over to names. If we have like a spawn player in, and then this could be a resource. Then our data, we can set this like how many ticks we want to be. Well, we noticed that our debris ticks to live is 45 right now. I kind of want to maybe make this another. Oh, I don't have any here. Let's make this a const. So this can be like the tick size. So essentially, this is our well, I guess I don't need to be a constant because that's gonna like live through the entire time frame. We don't really need that. What I do want to do is I want to make this like double the debris, the ticks to live here. So if we do something like let time to respawn, if we make you, let's say it's like 2. Oh, Peyton Rules is raiding with a party of 2. Welcome, 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 Peyton Rules. Awesome to have you here. let's go ahead, get ourselves set up with the game. How are you doing, Peyton Rules? How's your stream? We're gonna play the Get the Streamer game. It's the game we play every time we get raided. It's where I'm gonna run around trying to avoid all the things you're sending at me, which is over here to the right. You shall survive, Peyton Rules. Awesome. Lumicode, you were talking earlier about Godot, or at least different ways of doing like game dev with Rust, and Peyton is one of the streamers who has done Godot with Rust. Although I think you're doing WebAssembly right now, right? You've had better streams? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully tomorrow's will be better. Yeah, WebAssembly right now. By the way, how's the mouse situation? Has that been fully resolved? Do you have like a cat now? Because it sounded like you might, like a cat might be something on the plate. Also, hello Chantilly. No stream tomorrow. Friday is the next one. Okay. Well, hopefully Fridays will be better. You do not yet have a cat since you have an allergic wife and son. Yeah, I know. It can be tough convincing people to get animals that they're allergic to. No mouse in a trap today, which is either really good or really bad. Oh, I'm glad I barely missed that one. Probably really good. Then it's great. Yeah, mice in house sucks. Oh, I'll take the heart. Thank you. Even though it was a random. Which means I win. Oh, honest mistake. I didn't see that you dropped stuff too. Welcome. Awesome to have you here. So what we're working on today is Asteroids, and we're trying to set up like a time to respawn the player so we can like play them again. And I'm thinking like double however long the debris sort of like goes out at. So if I say it's like 3 seconds to respawn, and we want to do that as like right now our ticks. Oh, you know what? We can, okay, so we can do so instead of time to respond, we'll do seconds to respond, and we'll do 3. I think this has to be okay, then down. Then debris ticks to live. Okay, it has to be a U size, I think. Oh, and the update FPS. Okay, so then I want all these things to be up here. So I want that update FPS equals 60, and then you have to be a U32, and we're gonna put update FPS here. And then this is gonna allow us to do all sorts of cool math. So seconds to respawn, you're gonna be a, I don't know what this needs to be. Like a U size maybe? And then finally we want this debris ticks to live. So debris time to live is going to be equal to, and we might as well make it similar to this, I think. We're going to do 3 seconds to live. And I want you to live like half of this, essentially. So I can actually just do seconds to respawn divided by 2. Then we're going to use these all down here. So update FPS goes there. Debris seconds to live goes here. And then particles world. Oh. Now we have ticks to live. Oh, it's not there. This, oh, spawn player in. Here's the data. So this is going to be the seconds to respawn goes here. Okay. So now we have all this data sort of showing up here. I can now use this data with like the update FPS. We can do all the math we need to figure out what exactly, like, okay, this should be maybe ticks in here. So we should do seconds to respawn times the update FPS. U size U32, so it could be as size. That should be good there. Debris ticks to live should be debris seconds to live times the update FPS as size. Okay, so we're good there. Then whenever we die, I want to set seconds to respawn to be okay. So I actually probably want to set this to be something like 0 U size to begin with. So spawn player in. This could be like something 0 U size. And then if it's 0, I don't do anything. But we can set this so when we die. So what is that? They collide with asteroids. We're gonna need that. Let the wrapped respawn in. We're gonna need this to be mutable also. I don't know how this is gonna work. This might we'll see how this goes. Okay, so spawn player in. String. I'm gonna borrow you mutably. I grab you out here. You're just going to be a reference to a U size. then want to come down. So when we kill the ship, so we tell it that it's going to delete the player. We create the ship debris. Then we want to set respawn in to be whatever that value is. Which means we need to store it away. So like the actual respawn in, but then like the respawn time needs to be stored in here. And so this is going to be our seconds to respawn times update FPS as U size. Now we can come back to here and grab that out too. Oh, spawn time. We only need to borrow you. Oh, and you are wrapped spawn time. And you're also a U size. Okay, so then create the ship debris. Now I want to set the respawn in to be equal to the spawn time. So I want to do respawn in is now equal to spawn time. We can clone this, or I can just sort of force a copy there. Cannot assign respawn in. Okay, so you're happy there. And then we need some kind of like system to update this, to actually count when that's going to happen. Now, I think right now we can play the game, so I can actually show you all what it looks like, because I know some of you came in with a raid. So right now I can fly around. I have the asteroids. The asteroids aren't looking too bad. Their hitboxes are a little bit wonky, so we have to figure that out. But the movement feels really good. And when I die, we get a nice little particles that fade out. And then I'm working on like bringing the player back in again. So we're gonna have to have like a life system to like know when the lives are, of the respawn system, which probably only respawns you if you have lives. And that should be all good. But I think it is after 8:15, so I want to get some time to sort of like get ready for work, maybe do a little bit of pre-work meditation. So I'm gonna go ahead and sort of like start winding down here. So tomorrow morning we're gonna finish up the player respawning, which I think is gonna be really awesome, because that means I can die and just like keep on playing and experimenting around a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the